The Holosun red dot with the ACSS CQB Reticle. Let's check it out. Primary Arms had developed the ACSS Reticle, which is my favorite reticle system. I have one on an ACOG, I have them on a number of different Primary Arms optics. And because of the range finding capability, it's just a winner in a lot of ways. If you haven't already seen it, I'll have some of the links down below on some of the magnified ACSS reticles. But what we're going to look at today is a red dot, and this is the Holosun, which is in conjunction with Primary Arms, has developed the ACSS CQB Reticle. And guys, I'll tell you, it's really changed the way that you'll look at a red dot. Now this is a 2A Armament BLR-16, one of the lightest rifles that I know of. It weighs about 5 pounds. And because it's so light, I thought it would be a perfect candidate to mount the Holosun ACSS Reticle red dot. Now Holosun has only been in the optics business since 2013, but they have been in the LED and laser industry for over 25 years. But now one thing that is a special note is that this is the company that produces Primary Arms optics. So if you're a big Primary Arms fan like I am, that means quality. And they have a limited lifetime warranty on these optics. Now this is a microdot. It's a very small tube. It's a 22mm tube. It is set up, actually this is an American Defense quick detach mount. Now microdots have become very popular. They're small, they're a low footprint on the rifle, and they're just really quick to deploy. Of course, Aimpoint kind of led the way with that. You know, there's a lot of things that have been based off of the Aimpoint system. Now these have been known to be great for just close quarter. I mean, they're excellent to be able to get on target very quickly in a very short distance, out to about 100 yards. You start going past that and the dot typically fills up the target. And then came along the 3x magnifier, which was really developed to coincide with your 1x red dot. So you have 3x magnification where you go 1 to 100 to 1 to up to 600 or even farther. And so the 3x magnifier really helps. The great thing about the magnifier though typically are the mounts are made so they'll tuck out of the way. So you can push it out of the way, be able to get your close-up shots, and then if you need it, bring it back, and then you're back on target with magnification. But one of the things about a 3x magnifier is that if you're really up close to targets, it's a little bit more difficult to find your target with the magnification. And so, in fact, there was a time there where I was shooting and I lifted up and I couldn't find the target. Whereas before, with just the red dot, I was able to find that target really fast. Now this is a diagram of the ACSS CQB Reticle. Here we've got the horseshoe, the chevron, and the 3 bullet drop compensation points. Now here we have the reticle, and it is in 3x magnification, but I do have it brought up on my phone. So you can see the horseshoe, then the chevron, and then the 3 dots that go underneath. Okay, here we have the brightest setting, and this is looking up the road. And I'll tell you guys, we were shooting in super bright sunlight the other day, and the reticle just shined like the day. Now when we hold the rear setting button down for 3 seconds, we lose the horseshoe. And this is really where you get your 50,000 hour battery life with this setting. And then just hold it down 3 seconds and it brings it back up. Now here on this target, you can see that the chevron tip, it's no MOA. I mean, it's a tip, and you can get it right on the right target, but yet if you need your dot, you've got them. To me, this is the best of both worlds as far as a red dot. You have a lot of range capability, and yet definitely goes for CQB as well. Now from the top of the chevron down to right here at this little angle is from 100 to 300 yards. And so you're going to be able to range that in pretty easily. Then we have 400 yards here, 5 and 6. Now the 100-yard zero for 5.56 should be dead on at the tip of the chevron. For 308, just shoot an inch above, and then all of these should fall into place. It's pretty simple. Now here we see all the different calibers that you can go with, and you can go to the Primary Arms website and check all of this out as far as ranging for your particular load. Now here with the medium range mode, you do that without the horseshoe. You can still use the horseshoe, but this just kind of centers it up. And as you can see at 300 yards, this area right here is 18 inches. And then you have your 5 mile an hour wind holdovers here and here. So it's pretty much the size of a torso. And if you have someone standing and it's from here to here, you know that they're at 300 yards. And at 500 yards, this would fill up a 5-inch target. But I would highly recommend Dimitri's video on the Primary Arms YouTube channel. I'll have it linked down below. It really goes into a lot of description on how this works. And it's really very simple once you learn the basics. Now the reticle system in this red dot is just bright. I mean, it's daylight bright. In fact, I have to tone it down even in bright sunlight. And so that gives you a lot of different options. There are again 10 different settings. 2 of those are night vision compatible. One of the things though about a red dot is it is for close quarter. It is for 1 to 100 yards. Putting on the magnifier definitely gives you some magnification, and it really helps with getting more pinpoint accuracy. But one of the things I really love about the ACSS is that chevron. You can get the tip of that chevron to a specific point and you can really achieve good accuracy. Whereas if you have a red dot, especially a large red dot, it can fill up the target, and getting really good accuracy is more difficult. Now the range finding dots that run below it are 2 MOA. But that chevron is no MOA. It's just a point. The other thing is this is parallax free. So you can move this around in any angle and you still, as long as you see the dot, you have it on target, which makes it really good because you may just be able to get it up to your cheek really fast, just like this, and then wherever that dot's pointing, that's where the bullet impact should be happening, as long as you have your sight sighted in. The control buttons are right here on top. And all you have to do to turn it on is just hit the button. But one of the things about this scope is that the battery life on the medium setting is 50,000 hours. And that was also developed by Aimpoint, which thanks to Aimpoint. It has a brightness setting here, and then you have your dimmer on the back. To turn it off, all you need to do is press both buttons at the same time and it'll shut down. Here we have the battery cap, but there is knurling on here, so it comes off by hand without a whole lot of trouble. It does have one of the 2032 batteries, which these are super common. In fact, I have them in a lot of my optics, and I buy them by the pack on eBay. Again, you're going 50,000 hours though, and that's 5.7 years on constant on. But it also has a shut-off feature, so if this sits, it'll shut down, and then as it's moved, it'll immediately come back on. Here is your windage and elevation knobs, and you'll notice this small little bar here. And that is used to be able to adjust with your cap. And of course there's a corresponding slot right here. Now this is not marked up or down, but inside the cap is, which I think is awesome. You just set it down and it locks into that little bar, and then you can turn it whichever direction you want to. You can hear the audible clicks. Really easy to do. Then bring that back over and tighten it down. And each click adjustment is 1/2 MOA, which is about a 1/2 inch at 100 yards. Now the larger base is for 1/3 co-witness for your AR, and then you have the shorter base for your AKs and for your shotgun. And we have the Primary Arms Magnifier, which these are really good little magnifiers and very quick to deploy with the QD little mount right here. It's a one-piece aluminum body, and it does have a really nice, almost a Parkerized finish on it, very similar to the Aimpoint. It's a matte finish, and it's just, in fact, I've beat this up quite a bit, and it's holding up very well. Sometimes with the matte finishes you can get scuffs and light marks, but it's doing well. The sight is 2.6 inches in length, 2.5 inches in height with the standard base, and then 1.5 inches in width. And it weighs just under 5 ounces at 4.87 ounces. They are waterproof, they're shockproof, the lenses have been coated. There was one instance where a guy actually froze this solid in a freezer and then it continued to work. They're built like tanks, and that's one of the things about these optics. They're made for rugged use. The standard red dot is really meant for up to 100 yards. Adding the 3x magnifier gets it out there to about 600 yards. And I've seen it over and over. I haven't been able to test it out to that distance, but that is the plan. I know Dimitri at Primary Arms did extensive testing, hitting steel at 600 yards with no problem with the magnifier. One of the things about a magnifier though is you don't want to keep it on the whole time, and because when you're looking through, it's more difficult to see a target. So you can just pull it back, and then you can get to more close-up shots. And then when you're ready or you need that extra accuracy, just bring it back over. And this just kind of pulls back and then moves out of the way. In fact, I really like the way this works. I have some with little knobs and different things, but this, just grab it and change it. You know, if you'll notice, there are some parts where I'm shooting, and as I'm shooting like this, I'm having a hard time finding the target because I'm magnified. My field of view is less. So I pull this back, and then I have the field of view open. This is meant with the red dot to be both eyes open, and really you should do that even with the 3x magnification, which makes seeing your target really very quick. We're going to be shooting 160 grain VMAX HPR, really good accurate stuff. I want to thank HPR for supplying the ammo. They've been a sponsor of mine for a long time, and I really love HPR. Not because they send it, but because it's just great shooting stuff. Now to test the difference between using the 3x magnifier and not, I did about 3 groups each. This was the first group with the magnifier. Here we have the second group, and then the third group I was moving it up. Now with the 1x Holosun, this, here, and then here. So you can see there's a definite spread without using the magnifier. But at short distance, you're going to be able to get these shots really fast, whereas here, you're going to have to take a little more time to aim. One thing I am a big proponent of is buying quality optics. The rule of thumb has been traditionally that your optics should equal the price of your gun. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't adhere to that, and you know, you're looking for budget optics. A lot of times these they won't stay mounted correctly, or you know, the reticle will shift or it'll break, and there's a lot of other things that happen with optics, especially cheap optics. But one of the big things about Primary Arms is, and Holosun from what I understand now, they have a lifetime warranty on these. So if you have any problems, you know, you have that to back it up. But really guys, if a warranty fail happens when you need it, that's no good. Primary Arms has been huge as far as the capability and doing so much with a limited price range. I mean, their prices are really low. In fact, this sight runs $219 on the Primary Arms website. But to me, it has the same capabilities as an aim point for about the third the price or even more. And so, while I'm not saying to get rid of your aim points, and if you're like me, I can be kind of a snob. I own a number of Trigicons and aim points. They're excellent. But if your budget is saying, hey, I can't afford that, this is a serious competitor. there is a huge following with Primary Arms because the price is right, the scopes are way above their pay grade. And when I first started doing a lot of reviews with a lot of different scopes, I was always getting, what about Primary Arms? What about Primary Arms? And I'll tell you what, I now understand what the fuss is about. Holosun is following right in their footsteps. Check them out. I think Holosun is a great option. And then with the ACSS Reticle, guys, I'm telling you, if you haven't tried it, you definitely need to try out the ACSS. It's just got so much capability and so much more than just a red dot. And guys, I'm not trying to sell you on this scope because, you know, you make your own decision. And I'm not making anything off of this by you buying it. But I just think that you'll find that the Holosun and the Primary Arms are two really great, reasonably priced optics. So the Holosun ACSS CQB Reticle, thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, long live the Republic. Also, one of the great things is, if this is one of the great things too is it is a 2 MOA dot. But again, now there are two. Now the dots, here we have your windage elevation and and here we have your elevation knobs, which is phenomenal for this sight, especially since to me it has all the capabilities of an import. So the Holosun ACSS Reticle. So the Holosun ACSS Reticle CQB. So the Holosun. So the Holosun ACSS